News Channel 5 on your side presents Kaleidoscope, focusing on people who make a difference in Northeast Ohio communities.
Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The Association of African American Gardens hosts a major fundraiser on November the 19th. Its president, Carl Ewing, is here to tell us about the gardens and the fundraiser. And later we'll hear from Rufus Dacorte and Robert Sasarich of the Liberian Economic Development Initiative. They'll tell us about their efforts to build the first library in the country of Liberia. And later on the broadcast after that, Giving Circle co-founders Latoya Smith and Ron Johnson will talk about philanthropy and how you can establish your own circle. Good afternoon again. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we beginning with Carl Ewing. Carl, good to have you with us. And we're going to talk a little bit about the African American Gardens, which is being built in the Cultural Gardens of Cleveland.
That's correct.
Yeah, how's the progress coming along with the African American Gardens?
Well, this past June the 18th, we had the official dedication.
Yeah.
We dedicated the first phase of the garden. And that was a very memorial and very memorable date.
I was there for the groundbreaking, and I know it's going to be an historic, it is working out to be in a very historic place.
Absolutely.
This part of the Cultural Gardens, now that's that green space that runs basically from Lake Erie to University Circle, and this is going to be how we're going to end up with the Cultural Gardens, that green space of many different ethnicities which are represented in the greater Cleveland area. Tell me about this, what you like about this.
Well, I like I'm totally captured by it from this very beginning, the Doorway of No Return, which is the first pavilion that we've just completed, with the majestic black granite that leads that are the corridors that leads to the actual doorway itself. It's very moving, very touching.
Yeah, and I like that idea of the doorway of no return. Now, that was a doorway on West Africa that the slaves went through. They went through this real small doorway to get on the slave ships to be brought to this continent, and they were not going to see that again.
That's correct.
And so that's represented as part of African American history. Yeah. You're excited about this. Tell me about completion date for phases 2 and 3. What are we looking at?
Well, we are hoping to start the second phase this spring, and that's contingent upon the amount of monies that we're able to raise, because again, this is all fundraising, this is all donations from the kind-hearted people of Cleveland throughout the United States.
What kind of money are we talking about? What kind of money do we need to raise to finish all of this?
I would say upwards of $650,000 at the very least to get this project completed.
Yeah, and so people can give. Is there a place that they can send that money?
Yes, they can send that to our association, which is AAACG.org. That's our website. And then also they can go to the Association of African American Cultural Gardens, which is our Facebook. And then we have a GoFundMe account that's set up that way.
So if they get there, get more information on everything we're talking about. You're excited about this. I'm excited about this. I grew up about 100 yards from the Cultural Gardens of Cleveland. That's where my youth was. So I was in the Cultural Gardens all of the time, right there on Martin Luther King Drive and on East Boulevard, kind of a two-tier situation. It's been there since the late 1920s.
And I grew up on Wade Park at 93rd and Wade Park, never thinking in my wildest dreams that years later that I would become so intricately involved in the gardens.
Why is this important to our community?
I think, to me, it means a closure. It means that we've joined our rightful ranks here in the city of Cleveland. Along that avenue, there are currently 29 other gardens, and we've had a long journey to get to where we are today. And I think it's incumbent upon us as a people and the city to come together to help get this garden to its fruition.
Now, those more than 24, there are 29
There are 29 other
29 gardens. They represent the different ethnicities represented in this city of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio, right?
Right. I like to call it the United Nations Boulevard.
Yeah, it is. That's basically what it is. And the flags of many of the nations where people immigrated from fly over these gardens. This garden right here is at Martin Luther King Drive, just below the
St. Clair. Clair.
Just below the St. Clair overpass.
That's correct.
Yeah. This excites you?
Very much so. It's truly a labor of love. I truly am enthused, and I eat, live, and sleep the cultural gardens.
Dan Bickerstaff, who was our architect for the African American Cultural Garden, he's done a wonderful job.
Absolutely, and he too is homegrown. He grew up there in the neighborhood. And
Okay. Fundraiser, November the 19th.
November the 19th, that's our major fundraiser of the year, and that's going to take place at the Tudor Arms Hotel, which is located on 107th Carnegie and Stearns.
Yeah, right there in University Circle.
Absolutely.
How much are tickets for this?
The tickets are
a night for the African American Cultural Gardens is the event.
That's right, and the tickets are $150. It includes the silent auctions, raffles, dancing, music by 3 very good groups. We have the Voices of the Valley, a Shaw jazz band, and the Cavendish High Steppers.
Yeah, and that's November the 19th. Starts at 6:30. And when people come, this money will help us with the push for these cultural gardens.
Absolutely. This is all monies that are going strictly towards the construction of the gardens.
And I will tell our 19 Northeast Ohio counties who watch this broadcast, where our signal is that big, 19 Northeast Ohio counties, that the Cultural Gardens of Cleveland are a unique place. No place in the world has these gardens like they've been here for many, many decades, a few generations or so. And it's just a wonderful location, a wonderful green space that goes from Lake Erie to University Circle, really beyond University Circle a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, Carl Ewing is president of Association of African American Cultural Gardens. The big event is going to be November the 19th at the Tudor Arms Hotel. That's at the corner of Stearns and Carnegie Avenue, or Stearns, who used to be East 107th Street, right there in University Circle.
Correct.
Tickets are $150. You may put a phone number on the screen, 509-6427 in the 216 area code, and there's the website, aacg.org, aacg.org. More information on everything we're talking about. We'll have a good time, won't we?
We sure will.
Always good to
I
have
look
you.
forward to seeing you.
Always good to see you, and thank you for what
Thank
you do
you.
with the Cultural Garden.
Thank you.
Good man, good man. One of these heroes of Cleveland who is raising culture. Oh, that's what it's all about. I'm going to take a break, but in a moment we'll be back. We're going to talk about building a library in Liberia. All of that, but first this. Good afternoon and welcome back to Kaleidoscope. The Liberian Economic Development Initiative, also known as LEDI, hosts its annual fundraiser on October the 21st. The organization is raising funds to build the first library in the country of Liberia. LEDI's president, Rufus Darkerty, and communications director, Robert Sasarich, are here to tell us all about this event. Rufus Darkerty, good to have you with us, and Robert Sasarich, good to have you with us as well.
Thanks for having us.
Communications director. Tell me about the mission of the Liberia Economic Development Initiative. What is it?
We want to reduce poverty and change lives in Liberia. Liberia is a very poor country, and most of the people there could get stronger economically. And as you move people from poverty to prosperity, lives become better for them. So our goal is to...
Liberia on the west coast of Africa?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been living in this country? You're from Liberia, right?
Yes. About 16 years.
Well, good to have you. Good to have you here. Tell me, Robert, what's your role with this now as communications director? What is it that you have to do?
So I'm helping improve the social media and online presence for the organization. Working with Facebook right now and Twitter. Our Twitter's at Letty Now. Trying to just expand that reach, grow the following, and spread the message a little further.
Yeah. Well, what was your inspiration, Rufus, for founding this?
I grew up in Liberia, and I became a victim of poverty myself. I left my parents at the age of 8 years old and never got to see my father anymore. And he passed during the war. And there are millions of people in Liberia who share the same story with me. And as I overcame my situation, I want to make sure that I can reach back and help people too.
Yeah. You want to build a library there?
Yes.
Hey, tell me about that vision of building the library.
The library will serve as a university of the poor, where people in the community can go and learn some economic skills, some educational skills that can help them to move into employment or owning their own businesses or something like that. And there is no library in Liberia. So as you graduate from high school or college, what you learn in college and the infrastructure that is there, you lose everything.
Yeah. Robert Sasrich, this has got to be vital. I mean, if there's no library in Liberia, I mean, that's unthinkable. But we want to do this, right?
Absolutely. One of the biggest kind of inspirations, at least in my part, is that expansion of literacy, global literacy. There's so many parts of the world, especially in countries that are coming off of a civil war scenario like Liberia, where people don't have access to basic books, to the internet, things we take for granted here, which makes the project extremely valuable, because once somebody can have access to that knowledge, they can go anywhere. They can improve their own country. They can improve their world.
Yeah. So there's going to be you're going to have a big fundraiser on Friday, October the 21st. Tell me about that event.
Yes, this event is to celebrate the life of giving by key persons who have impacted our organization and impacted Cleveland as well. So this year we are blessed to have Jeff Patterson, who is the CEO of CMHA.
Yes.
We have Jerry Presti, who is the legal counsel for Forest City, the general counsel for Forest City. We have Dr. Yvonne Puenter, and we also have James Sackers.
Friday, October the 21st, at the club at the Marriott Key Center in downtown Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah. And what are ticket prices on this, and how can people get tickets?
It's $75.
How much is that?
$75. And you can get a ticket from our website, which is...
I got that, LEDIfundraiser.org.
Yes.
You see at the bottom of the screen, LEDI, that's LEDIfundraiser.org. More information on everything we're talking about. You're trying to raise big money on this, aren't you?
Hopefully. Hopefully get enough to break ground and start construction here.
Yeah. When would you like to break ground? I mean, you'd like to break ground today, I know that, but what are you anticipating?
Sure.
Hopefully by the end of this year. Yeah, we want to go and break ground, start the foundation, and then get to the next phase.
Now, there's an interesting history of Liberia to the United States. Liberia, if history serves me correct, was founded by former slaves who had left this nation, the United States, and went to Africa and formed that nation over there.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, one of the presidents of Liberia was born and raised in Norwalk, Ohio. Edward J. Roy. So I was born in a county called Mississippi in Africa, and we have Maryland. So Liberia is a product of the United States.
Former slaves.
Yes.
Who went to Africa and established Liberia.
Yes.
And I think the capital is Monrovia?
Monrovia, named after President James Monroe. Our country flag is like the United States flag, except that we have 11 stripes and 1 star, and the United States have 13 stripes and 50 stars.
So there's an emotional tie, Robert, between this country and Liberia, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, once again, that event is going to be Friday, October the 21st at the club Marriott Key Center in downtown Cleveland. Tickets are $75. And if you phoned 216-202-5334, you see at the bottom of the screen more information. Or you can go to LEDI, L-E-D-I, LEDIfundraiser.org. Get more information on everything we're talking about. Many thanks. Rufus Darkady, co-founder and president of Liberia Economic Development Initiative, and Robert Sasrich, Communications Director for LEDI. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast. We wish you well.
Thank you, Liam, for having us.
Good to see you. Good to be blessed, both of you. I'll take a break in just a moment. We'll talk about the significance of being a philanthropist. A philanthropist. When we come back, more on that. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope. I'm Leon Bibb. Always glad to have you with me on this broadcast. LaToya Smith and Ron Johnson are founding members of the Giving Circle, Our Hope, Our Future. And they'll talk about the importance of African-American philanthropy and explain how to establish your own giving circle. LaToya Smith, good to have you with us.
Thank you. Nice to
you
be
too,
here.
Ron Johnson. Ron's been with us before. Yeah. Tell me about what is Giving Circle, Our Hope, Our Future? You're a founding member. You ought to know.
Yes, yes. A few years ago, Ron and I actually was attending the African American Philanthropy Summit hosted by the Cleveland Foundation. And sitting in that room, my heart just felt compelled to do something more and better and greater. Always been a giver, just born and raised that way. And after that summit, I got with Ron and a couple of friends who were there and said, you know, we need to do something. I'm ready to do something. And so so we got together and started a giving circle, Our Hope, Our Future, and it just happened organically, and it was really good because the mission and the desire that we have were all in line.
Yeah.
And so that's how we got started.
That's how you got started.
Yeah.
Well, Ron Johnson, you're trying to get the African American community to realize the importance of giving. I mean, you're trying to get all of us,
absolutely,
the entire community, but we're targeting the African American community, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So, you know, our community is actually a very giving community. It's in our history, it's in our DNA, and what we're really trying to do is expand awareness. There are a lot of issues that we're dealing with in our community, across the nation. We want people to think about how they can impact the communities where they live through collective contributions. When people think about philanthropy, they tend to think about, you know, wealth and really rich people doing a lot of impactful things. And through a giving circle, you can actually pool your resources with like-minded individuals and contribute and be in a very thoughtful and intentional way. And so that's what we want to do, is to increase awareness among our folks.
Latoya, what's the concept of a giving circle? What do you mean by giving circle?
You know, the concept for us is that for us to leave a legacy of giving. You know, we've all been doing this for many years and for some time, and so we wanted to do it on a collective way. We wanted to really be impactful and influential in our communities, and so we are encouraging individuals to join us. So we're recruiting more members, as well as encouraging others to create their own giving circles throughout the city.
When I think of a giving circle, I think of literally a circle.
Yes,
People sit in a circle and they all, well, I put this in and I can give this into the center. Is that what you're talking about?
That's exactly what we're talking about. So a giving circle can be constructed in many different ways. I liken it to an investment club. So you can put your own rules in place. You can set your mission. You can think about the types of organizations or the types of causes that you want to support. And for us, you know, we've done that. We've established some guidelines for our giving circle. We know what kinds of causes we want to support. And so we're just looking to get more people involved.
You've got an event you're hosting this month. You want to talk about?
So actually the event is coming up on October the 27th, and it's going to be from 6:30 to 8, where we're going to have one of our Cleveland-owned chef, Eric Wells, who is going to be giving some mystery ingredients to create something. And so it's going to be a great event.
That'll be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mystery ingredients.
Yes, he is.
Create something the chef.
It'll be healthy, though.
It'll be healthy. It'll definitely be healthy. And it's just going to be one of many fundraisers that we're going to have. And so it's $65 per person, and we're looking forward to that event and some more events that we're going to have coming up in the future.
I'm looking over your shoulder here. October the 27th is your event at Cleveland Culinary Event Center. That's at 1667 East 40th Street. That's where you're holding this, right?
Yeah, actually it's going to be at the Loft at 1667, yes.
Okay, at the Loft on October the 27th. Yes. What comes out of this when we get together and we give? Well, what happens when we have this concept of giving?
Well, we believe that we get people who are more engaged around what's going on in the community. People are thinking about the kind of impact, what they want to support, the types of causes they want to support. We have a lot of nonprofit organizations right here in Northeast Ohio that are in dire need of funds. And so we get to infuse capital and investment in the nonprofit community to serve people that look like you and me. And I think for the most part, you know, this is part of the Cleveland culture. Cleveland is probably one of the most philanthropic cities around, and this is who we are, and this is how we really support our communities and make sure that we're doing the best for all of our citizens.
The fact of the matter is the United Way concept, it was called something else way back when, but it began in Cleveland. When I was a little boy, we called it the community chest. But it was the United Way concept, what we know as the United Way. It began right in this city. You're trying to tap into that, saying what we've got to give. If we give to others, we give to worthwhile causes. In a way, we're giving to ourselves, aren't we?
Exactly. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, Latoya Smith is founding member of the Giving Circle, Our Hope, Our Future, and Ron Johnson is founding member as well of the Giving Circle, Our Hope, Our Future. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our hope and our future. And
Absolutely.
we're building on that.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the broadcast to talk about this concept. People can call at 534-1342. We've got that number on the screen. Let's keep that up for a little bit. 216-534-1342. More information on everything that we've been talking about. Because when you give, in a way, you get.
Absolutely.
You sure do.
Okay, that's what it's all about. That's how it all works out. Well, coming up next, Marsha Maccabee, the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, with a commentary after this. Time now for the Morning Exchange segment. That means Marsha Maccabee, the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, is here to always offer a commentary. And I'm wondering what's on your mind today.
Well, lots of things on my mind today, Leon, but uppermost is this upcoming election and the importance of this election and the importance of getting everyone out to vote. One of the critical things in voting is making sure that you have the proper ID when you go to the poll. And so the Urban League has teamed up with an organization called Vote Riders, and they produce this card, which is wonderful because on the back of it, Leon, it really lists all the different kinds of IDs that are acceptable at the voting place. So that way our voters know exactly what they have to have, what the copies look like, all of that kind of thing, and they can go ready to vote.
So if they, and really they can go to voteriders.org, I see on this card, and get
Right.
more information on everything we've been
They
talking
can do
about.
that, but also they can go to the Urban League website at www.ulcleveland.org, and we will also have those cards available, you know, have a link to that so that they can download the card as
And it's
well.
acceptable IDs at the polling place, all kinds
Correct.
of things. A military ID, unexpired driver's license, bank statement, government check, paycheck, all those kinds of
Right.
things. Driver's license, all of that will
Yes,
help you.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's really important to know before you go to the poll that you can go ready with whatever you need.
And Vote Riders apparently gives you assistance in getting to the polls as well.
Yes, they do.
That's
yes,
what
they
it's
do.
about. Well, Vote Riders, that's what it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You find, and you talk about that all the time, the importance of getting out to vote and exercising this privilege.
That's exactly
and
right.
this right of voting.
And when you see all the things that we're concerned about in our communities, we have to vote so that we have a voice in what needs to happen to turn things around.
That's what happens in a
So we
democracy.
can't complain if we don't vote, right?
We're in a democratic republic, and that's how it works.
That's exactly right.
Many thanks, Marsha Maccabee.
Thank you, Leon.
Many thanks to you as well for being with us. For Marsha Maccabee, I'm Leon Bibb on Kaleidoscope. Be well.
This has been a presentation of News Channel 5's Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.